Day 4 of deliberations are underway in the trial of former Minnesota police officer Kim Potter. Potter is charged with manslaughter in the death of 20-year-old Daunte Wright during a traffic stop in April. Potter says she mistook her gun for a taser. Prosecutors claimed Potter acted reckless with her weapon until the defense argues Wright escalated the situation and put the officers in danger. The jury on Tuesday asked the judge what they should do if they can't agree on a verdict, fueling speculation they may be deadlocked. Jurors will recess until Monday if they do not come up with a unanimous decision today. For more on this, let's bring in Fox News legal analyst Mercedes Colwin. Good to see you, Mercedes. What do you make of what's happening there? What do you think has them stuck?
It's not good news for either the prosecution or the defense that there are these troubles during the deliberation. Frankly, it's really the struggle between the manslaughter one, which is the recklessness standard, that fact that she exhibited such reckless disregard for human life by being so careless, versus the second lesser included charge, which is the manslaughter second, which is culpable negligence. And it's really, that's the struggle between the two, because you can see how a jury can say, of course it's negligence. Dwayne, he died as a result of her mistaking her gun for the taser. So that's a struggle between the two laws. And then you couple that with her agonizing testimony. I mean, Officer Potter, anybody that saw that knew she was agonizing on that stand, and it was authentic. Tears flowing. It was the pain in her voice, the pain in her face. The jury struggles with someone who looks incredibly contrite and agonized and anguished over what happened on April 11th. It's clear she had no intention whatsoever to take the life of Dwayne Wright. But unfortunately, their struggle is this whole issue regarding whether this is criminal negligence or not.
Well, and what I'm wondering is exactly how much her testimony can play to them, because it was so emotional. This was just an emotional moment for anyone who was watching this. It was really difficult to watch. So when they're trying to make that distinction between the charges and figure out culpability here, like, how much are they allowed to have that play? I don't know if I'm even asking the question correctly, but like it was so overwhelming just to see what she had to say and the way that she had to say it.
Well, it's a great point and a great question. It really boils down to, and there are instructions to the jury, that sympathy cannot play a part in their decision. So there is an actual admonishment to the jury, because of course we're all human beings. We watch something like the testimony from Officer Potter and your heart breaks. But they are instructed by the jury instructions not to allow sympathy to seep into their decision making, which is why it goes back to, if you take out the sympathy and you take out the fact that obviously Officer Potter's anguish at the results of what took place, now you're really struggling between these two standards. It's the easier way out to say we just can't make a decision, which means that this whole trial begins anew. I can't imagine that the prosecution, given the fact that a life was lost by the actions of Officer Potter, whether they're criminal or not, I can't imagine the prosecution will say we're not going to retry it. If there is a hung jury, this trial will go again in the future.
Do you think, just from your experience, that if there's a hung jury that we're going to hear about it today before the Christmas holiday?
I think there's going to be a real push for a final decision to be made, but if I were a betting person, I can't imagine that they won't try to return after the holidays on Monday and then make a final decision then. I'm sure, and you heard the judge say to the jury, really try to make a decision if you can. There might be another instruction, wait until Monday and see what happens. But if they rush to judgment now, it's going to be a hung jury if it comes to the end of this today. It's my guess.
Okay. Well, we'll continue to wait and watch. Meantime, the Supreme Court is set to hear arguments early next month on two of President Biden's nationwide vaccine mandates. The vaccine or test mandates affects healthcare workers and businesses with more than 100 employees. The White House responding with a statement saying, quote, at a critical moment for the nation's health, the OSHA vaccination or testing rule ensures that employers are protecting their employees, and the CMS healthcare vaccination requirement ensures that providers are protecting their patients. We are confident in the legal authority for both policies, and DOJ will vigorously defend both at the Supreme Court. What does it say to you that they are going to hear, that they even took this?
Pretty extraordinary, because generally the U.S. Supreme Court does not get involved in these temporary restraining orders. This is what's at issue right at this very moment, whether there can be a stall to the implementation of this vax mandate. So it's interesting that they are doing it. But looking at the case in itself, it looks like the two buckets. So one bucket meaning healthcare. If they're going to make any decision regarding healthcare, most probably they will uphold the vax mandate for healthcare. We've seen it in the lower courts, a lot of the lower court decisions coming down on that path, meaning that, yes, if you're a healthcare provider, you can mandate that your employees are vaccinated. So I'm going to set that aside. The real focus of the controversy, and we've already seen the Sixth Circuit talk about this, is whether or not there can be a mandate to employers that have 100 or more employees. That's the real crux of the argument that's going to be before the U.S. Supreme Court ultimately, not just now during this temporary restraining order phase.
Okay.
And looking at that, and we can already see what the Sixth Circuit has said. Sixth Circuit said the underlying circuit court, the federal court, essentially said OSHA has the power to do this. Why? Because they are the agency that governs the safety of workers in the workplace. Okay. So the fact that this is just an emergency standard, right, it's needed, it's critical, it's certainly something that the U.S. Supreme Court may uphold and may just, if they're going to pass, they'll pass it to the states to make an ultimate decision.
Mercedes Colwin, it's so good to see you. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.